All right, everybody, welcome. I'm just getting this all set up here. As usual, I am opening up the question and answer here, so anybody can chat in as much as they would like. Here we go. All right, and then I also have our overall kind of like just chat here is going to be open. And as usual, if you guys have been here before, you know that I'm going to give away 7 day for free. All right. And with that being said, I kind of want to just jump into it today. Usually I give a little bit of time for stragglers to join in. I'm going to try something new today too, and I'm going to put up a poll here. So if you guys could please click on one, GPT, and let's do Gemini. All right, save here, and um, I want to launch this. So if you guys could just go ahead and answer this because I really want to know, I'm leaning in a little bit more to specific tools and specifically Claude's been coming out with a lot. And I don't know if you guys have really noticed how much has been happening here as far as, Claude really coming out with a lot of tools. Rob, I saw that you have your hand up. If you can put it in the question and answer, I don't think I have a way for you to give me any like give you the mic per se. But yeah, if you put it in the Q&A, Rob, I'll make sure to get your question answered. All right, this might be interesting for you guys to know. So we have about 27% say Claude, 55% say GPT, and 18% said Gemini. So pretty interesting results here. It seems like there's that GPT is still the clear winner. I've seen more and more people drift away from GPT recently and actually go more towards Claude. So I've personally been trying to experiment with more than that. Rob said here, I have both Claude and ChatGPT. I use both, but more recently adopted Claude, who seems to be better at interpreting what I upload. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of experimentation with Claude. I've been using it for a little while, but I really started leaning into it recently. And if you guys are familiar with OpenClaw, Claude, like literally yesterday, not only launched this like huge kind of like they call them skills, the same thing that OpenClaw calls theirs to build their AI agents, but you can now teach it to do anything. You could have it go operate on a computer. Is it as powerful as OpenClaw? I don't think so yet, but I'm going to get into more of that today and hopefully give you guys some clarity around how this is all going to be shaking out. Thank you for answering that poll. It just helps me kind of like gain a better understanding for what to build around for these webinars. Just so you guys know too, if you guys are a GPT user and you want to try Claude, literally yesterday, they have just released a tool that you can actually import all of your previous chats from ChatGPT into your new Claude account. So you don't lose any of that historical, like, oh, I've talked to ChatGPT so much, it knows about my business, it knows about me. I don't want to change yet. I have this like, relationship or this loyalty to ChatGPT just because the history that we have together. Guess what? Claude just announced a tool yesterday. I was gonna give it a try before the webinar today. I just haven't had the time. I'm gonna give it a try later today. But I'm thinking next week I'm going to do a deep dive on all this new stuff that Claude has released because it basically takes this open Claude AI agent, AI employee, and it puts it in the hands of everybody. That if you can use ChatGPT, you could probably use these skills and you could even have it build its own skills. So I think that I'm going to do that next week. If that sounds interesting to you guys, let me know. You can use the Q&A here to let me know if you want. But that's kind of what I was gonna think about for next week. I think that would be really interesting. It's interesting to see that, 55% of you guys are using GPT, 27% are on Claude, 18% are on Gemini. But I think that we might see those numbers start to change unless OpenAI wakes up. OpenAI has been getting a lot of backlash, a lot of uninstalls. Their uninstall rate on a daily basis yesterday and the day before, all based off that government deal that they did. There's a lot of drama between Anthropic, Claude, OpenAI, and the US government, but their uninstall rate went up like nearly 300%, and their one-star review rate went up 700%. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. But in terms of feature releases, Claude's just been crushing it and winning in the marketplace. So today, I really wanted to talk to you guys about what the future is going to look like here. And this is stemming off of me building a AI platform in the construction space, and it's stemming off all of the people that I talk to every single day in our AI construction community. And it's stemming off, helping people build little tools and little agents for their own companies, whether they're, one-man operations trying to avoid hiring people except for on-site people. My co-founder at Contracts Connected, Lars Herman, had a GC for a long time. He sold it and he was crazy enough to start another GC. And we're kind of using his company as a guinea pig. So I'm actually building out an OpenClaw fully autonomous, contract team for him. That's handling literally all the paperwork. It's answering phone calls, it's receiving emails, it's chatting back and forth with the team over email. And I'm getting into the theory by using his company as the guinea pig of how I see this AI software and these AI agents coming into play. And we have so many tools, we have so many softwares, we have our project management solutions, we have our accounting solutions. How are these AI agents or AI employees really going to come into our workplace? And that's what I wanted to talk about today is that AI agent layer and how it's going to emerge into our day-to-day operations, just so you guys can plan. And there's all this like blah, blah, blah about, AI agents are going to replace you, replace me, replace all the white collar workers and stuff like that. But I want to be clear, that's not what I'm preaching. And I want to take a very realist approach from somebody that's working right alongside a general contractor and using a general contractor as a guinea pig to actually use AI agents in his day-to-day work in a safe, secure, human in the loop approval framework way that is realistic. He's running a real company with real dollars, real projects. And how are we going to approach this? How are we working through this? How are we making sure that we're safe, the data is safe, that the thing doesn't do anything that we don't want it to do? So that's and I want to get even more into that case study as it progresses. So I may do some analytics and some recordings and how it's operating, and I might even demo it straight to you guys and bring Lars onto one of these trainings so you see a real general contractor and how it's operating inside of his construction company. So let's just talk about, I want to explore the dynamics of these AI agents, how it's going to impact construction software ecosystems, and how I'm developing this theory of how we're introducing Contracts Connected into this agentic layer, where we want to have a fully, AI contract administrator. It requires nobody on site. It just requires paperwork, communication, back and forth, documentation, tracking, reporting, all that kind of stuff. And we want it to be just like a team member. We want it to be, joining meetings and reporting on stuff. We want it to be answering the calls. We want it to be calling people preemptively. So I'm going to get into our theory, how I'm building this, how I'm using this in the case study with Lars before we take it to anybody else's companies. And yeah, it should be pretty exciting conversation. This one is more of like a education theory, what we're testing, what we're trying, so you guys can be a part of this future. I would love to have you guys interacting into the Q&A here as well. All right. So, AI agents are going to represent a transformative shift in this context space, right? Integrating smart systems that are going to automate these workflows by leveraging these existing software platforms. As these agents layer over traditional systems, they provide and enable enhanced productivity, streamlining those operations, introducing new capabilities. And basically what I want to kind of talk about is these AI companies, they're coming out with these AI features, AI chat, AI review. We're coming out with, different AI document review, right? So a subcontractor submits a certificate of insurance. I want an agent that is fully trained on every single endorsement, that can pull out and extract all the relevant information, read the endorsements, make sure they weren't tampered with, make sure we have all the endorsements, make sure all the limits match what's in the subcontract, and give me my, green, yellow, or red light kind of answer or analysis, right? So that's kind of what we're seeing in this first step, right? But what about that like agentic, more employee-based thing? And there's a big difference between AI workflows and agentic AI. AI workflows is something like what we're seeing a lot of these companies come out with, document reviews. It's a workflow. It's handing it off from like one, a parsing agent to a lookup agent to a analysis agent. So there's multiple like AI thinking processes happening, but it's very, systematic. First step, it goes here. Second step, it goes here. Third step, it goes here. That is more of a workflow. I'm talking agentic. Agentic is something where we think and we're like, oh, based off this email, I need to go look up this information, go to get this document, go paste the information into that template, send it to this person for e-signature. You made a decision, right? And that could be different based on the contents of that email. It's not systematic. It's not every time a COI is uploaded, do the same step. Every time a COI is uploaded, do the same step. Agentic can do and pull and decide and use these tools or skills to go accomplish things. And one of the main theories that I want you guys to just be thinking about, and this is how I'm approaching it based on building in the space, talking to people, and actually kind of building in a sandbox environment with a real GC, doing a real project of how we can work through this stuff. I don't think that we're ready to throw our softwares away. It's just, we're used to these things. We're comfortable in our project management systems. We're comfortable in our accounting systems. We're comfortable using these tools. How do we layer this agentic AI in a way where it doesn't just, rip to shreds everything that we're used to? And really, what I think we're going to be seeing is these agents are going to be layered and trained on how to use the software tools. And one powerful thing, in how I talk about it with Contracts Connected when I'm talking to my team is, we can build these AI agents all day, but guess what? We need a collaborative space where real employees, real people can work with these AI employees, right? And this collaborative space can be this, record of truth. It's a systematic, process within here. The proper approvals happen within this software. The proper permissions are granted to the AI employee account, so you issue them an employee account just like you issue any of your other team members, and they are required to, send for approval. And based on your workflows, if you want your subcontract terms around the inclusions and the exclusions and the price to be approved before that, contract administrator agent can send it, guess what? They use Contracts Connected the way that it is built because it has the proper workflows. The agent's is doing all of the data entry, all of the setting up, all of the everything to get it basically ready, sends it for approval, and that locks the agent and prevents it from doing anything that's not approved. Same with a lot of your guys' other, softwares. You can build these, permission-based flows into these things. You can build these reports and stuff like that. So it's automatic and the agent's not doing anything outside of its scope and it's not, creating risk for the company. So how we're approaching it is, we want to train this employee almost separate from the software. Yes, the software is going to have all these, COI analyzer workflows and, contract risk and redline risk analysis and stuff like that around your contracts, that's all awesome. And that helps both the AI agent and it helps the human age or the human employees. But in terms of how do we go the next step, we're building out these agents that are expertly trained and adopting and using our software based on a lot of data that we can input into it. And they're going to be able to work through this perfectly every single time. And you're just going to get your email notification when it's time for approving it. As soon as you approve it, that agent gets its email notification, reads its email notification, logs into the platform, and sends it. It's like that. It's that simple. So you're basically building the employee and training the employee and layering it on top of your softwares. That way you don't lose your softwares. You don't lose your workflows. You don't have to rip apart your workflows to incorporate these AI agents. You still have your collaborative space with them. Awesome. So that I'm going to get into more details on this, but I want you guys to just, it's a theory, right? My theory could change and be ripped apart tomorrow, but that is, a logical approach on what is the industry ready for. The industry is really ingrained into their workflows around their softwares. If it's not on-site personnel, how do we train or how do we up-level our softwares, in a way that is secure, we can host it locally, and that can be used. So, there's no data getting pushed to any APIs. There's no information getting leaked. That employee that's, arguably got its own email address, so your team can email them. It's got its own phone number, so your team can call it, your team can text it, your team can ask whatever. So if a PM needs a new subcontract, they just email it or they text it, and they can have a communication back and forth to get that done. Once the email happens, that the AI employee then goes and puts it in the contract management software. So, Rob asked, I'm currently creating a contract for the design portion of a design build proposal. Does this platform assist with this? My current plan is chat and I create and then upload to Claude for review. Rob, I would just go check out contractsconnected.com. You'd be able to check that out and see. But it wouldn't hurt to chat with us for sure. All right. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. I want you guys to just know that's kind of like the talk track here, right? So let's just recap here for a second. AI agents are those sophisticated systems designed to autonomously achieve goals by decomposing them into manageable steps. Same way that we think. We're just restructuring our own brains in AI. That's basically what's happening. Utilizing various tools for execution, iterating through the processes. IBM defines these agents as capable of completing tasks autonomously by creating workflows when available with available tools, enabling them to address information gaps that traditional models struggle to manage. So if your AI agent doesn't know how you like if there should be retention on a certain subcontract, guess what? It can shoot an email, it can shoot a text to the proper person on your team that would know that information, gather that information, and then go put it into the contracts connected system so your subcontract generates properly. That's a problem. It's aware of the problem. It comes up with steps. Step one, I need to think about who to contact. Step two, what's the best way to contact them? Step three, I have a phone number, so I'm going to go text them. So that, it's just breaking it into steps. It's how we think. We just don't think step one, step two, step three like these AI agents do. All right, so I want to talk about, hype. There's so much hype around AI agents right now. It's crazy. I think that it is justified in the sense that it's increasingly supported by, these technologies allowing more connections into the people's existing ecosystems. OpenAI, Microsoft, and Anthropic are integrating computer using agents that can engage with these more kind of like visual interfaces that we are using, similarly to how humans operate on the computer. This advancement allows for the execution of tasks across various platforms, and not just limited to, text or image generation like we've been used to for the past little while here since ChatGPT really came on site. This is demonstrating a significant leap towards this practical application in enterprise settings. So if these agents are able to view a website, read a website, make decisions, read emails, decide what to do based off that email, and use these systems just like users, why not set them up with usernames? Why not set them up with permission gated accounts? Why not create a little email address so the only information they see is what they're CC'd on, right? Where the hype is premature, in my opinion, is despite these advancements, the hype surrounding these AI agents is a little premature in some cases. Claude is not easy to set, or OpenClaw is not easy to set up, but that's was like one of our most attended webinars, right? So the hype is there, the hype, everyone wants it, but is it really accessible? Is it really safe yet? Is a little premature to say that everybody should go build an open claw for their construction company, right? But Claude is coming out with some more, safer tools already, just in the past few days that I think maybe next week I'll dive deeper into. But key challenges include reliability when faced with messy real-world inputs, which we all know construction is full of. The need for, stringent government governance and security protocols, which again, construction highly values those, and inherent complexity of many enterprise workflows, which are governed by policies that require approvals and oversight. So I think that by giving these AI agents actual platforms to operate within, that can solve a little bit of these items as from like the security standpoint all the way through to guardrails. So it's like you don't have to train guardrails. It's like they're logged in as a user, and that user literally can't do anything that they're not allowed to use. So I want you guys to think about these as like more of an employee, more of a layer on top of your software. I'm unsure if a lot of companies are going to adopt this like layered approach, like I'm kind of looking at. But we're in this research and development phase, like on the cusp of, using this in some real companies here. Okay, so basically, this is all about bridging the gap between what AI agents can do and what humans can do. How we look at things, how we click on things versus how AI agents need to operate. So there's three major ecosystems that have like basically, I would call them consumer friendly AI agents where you're not going to have a lot of technical abilities. You have OpenAI, you have Microsoft, you have Anthropic. Anthropic really is kind of taking the lead here. There's a lot of people with Claude that are just like I'm in a few different groups and group chats. The stuff I'm seeing that people are doing in the past few days with these new skills that Claude has, especially in Claude Cowork, it's pretty cool. And to have it in a consumer grade product, it'll blow your mind. So OpenAI's CUI, basically, their agentic layer does mimic human actions. You'll see it load literally a desktop. It'll read website pages and it will click through website pages just like a human. Microsoft Copilot enhances workflow automation. So, like I said, there's differences between reading something, thinking about something, and making a decision, and then a workflow. Workflows are more like step one, step two, step three. They're good for repetitive processes where the inputs are very similar. And Anthropic's tools are more on that crazy level, right? So go do what you need to do, AI agent. But there is some training and setting up and that what they call skills that need to happen prior to. So again, reliability, real world inputs, governance and security requirements, operational integration complexities. So all of this stuff is just things that you guys need to think about depending on where you're going to incorporate this stuff. I try to keep these webinars pretty wide in terms of breadth across, I have architecture, engineering, and construction and subcontractors that come to these webinars. So different organizations are going to have different problems to approach, as well as different people within these organizations. So I work with contract administrators probably the most often with contracts connected, but an estimator is going to have much different software, much different problems, much different data to work with on a day-to-day basis. So just keep that in mind on the operational integration complexity. What does it need to plug into to be really useful for you? So, these platforms in construction tech are evolving. You'll see acquisitions happening like crazy right now on the AI side of things. Procore just acquired, I think their company was called Data Grid, but they're really trying to automate submittal review, right? And think about submittal review is it can be thought of, it's the same type of document over and over and over and over. So you can really train these like more specialized agents on, okay, step one, step two, step three. It's the same document over and over and over. But and that's the same thing that we do with, certificates of insurance, W-9s, and going and looking up and verifying the EIN number, weekly certified payroll for federal contractors. So we get these same documents and it's over and over and over, same thing, workflows. Now, how do I take that to the next level for my users? And it's about this agent layer over systems of record, over systems of control. And I think that they need to be independent, and some level of independence there allows for the guardrails to happen naturally with the way that we're used to giving guardrails to our employees. It's just another employee at the end of the day. So today's construction platforms are evolving. They are integrating these AI agents to enhance functionality rather than, replacing these existing systems. You're seeing a lot of like AI feature, AI added feature, AI added feature. This layered approach is going to allow for this improved efficiency, effectiveness, and project management. And as agents can efficiently interact with established workflows, providing insights and automating routine tasks, that's the key here. So as far as case studies, construction platforms embracing AI agents, Procore announced its AI capabilities in 2024, but they haven't really released anything of like mind-blowing AI capabilities since that announcement. So you're going to see probably a lot of stuff come through with that acquisition they did. Usually when companies get to the size of Procore, they innovate via acquisition. They let companies like me go out there, take all the risk, do all the hard work, build out this research and development, and then they just want to acquire, right? Because we've done all the trial and error, we've figured it out, and they just want to buy something that's kind of done, and that's been proven to be adopted. So that's what they did with that recent acquisition. Autodesk is going to launch, or it launched an AI kind of assistant. We saw a lot of like chatbots and like interactive chats come out over the past few years. There's other companies that have like outlined their vision for the future and these like agentic agents, but haven't really given a ton of action around them. So I think that we're going to see more and more of it. It's just how is it going to layer out? How much autonomy are these agents going to do in our platforms without having to completely switch up our stuff in terms of like deleting our old Procore, user interface and adopting this AI forward one. I think our existing platforms are going to layer on AI in really great ways. But I think that there's this next level. It's the employee level. It's the autonomy level. It's that. And I want my AI employee to interact with my team, how my team talks. My team talks in email. My team texts. My team calls. And I want it to be able to do all those things. So I want it to layer on top. So AI agents are establishing a new layer of execution that enhances existing software capabilities already. We have basically this user interface interactions. The agents are going to be kind of interacting with user interfaces, websites and login pages, just the way that we do. We're really rebuilding ourselves at the end of the day when it comes to AI. We're trying to basically create an intelligence that's, as smart as us. AGI, that's what we're all after. And integration of existing apps is basically instead of replacing these applications, agents are going to be leveraging our current softwares that we're used to using, that we like using, that we're comfortable in using, that we feel safe using, that companies have grown for the past 15 years using. And that's going to basically improve the workflow's productivity without major disruption to our organizations. It's just a new way of thinking about how these agents are going to come into our world rather than just being like, oh yeah, the software is going to do it for us. It's like, no, we like our softwares, we operate our softwares, our team knows our softwares, and we're not going to switch away from this software. But if I'm going to wait for a massive organization and company to come in and just release this feature and change our whole accounting world and give us AI agents that can do our accounting, we're going to be waiting for a while. So standardization efforts, the industry is working towards standardizing protocols for like agent to tool connectivity to simplify integrations. And really what this just boils down to is the most powerful AI out there is usually not the most user friendly and it's usually not the easiest to set up, right? So think about OpenClaw. It takes quite a bit of setup. It's not easy. But once you get it there, it's pretty cool. And you have to continue to build on it, right? Versus the Claude of the world said, oh, wow. I mean, they've been working on this for a really long time, I'm sure. But Claude basically said, people want to do all this stuff. We know this. We're going to release this skill builder. You're going to be able to go build skills and train your Claude account to go do things, on the web, log into accounts, go click on things, whatever you need it to do. And it's more of a user-friendly version. So the standardization effort, especially around like MCP, is just like it's an integration game at the end of the day, and it's just a setup headache right now to create a true, open claw style agent for you. And also you could set it up for a week, finally get it working, and have no security parameters. So standardization is key. And again, maybe next week I'll jump into that Claude skill builder and co-work kind of tool next week. As organizations face unique challenges, agents are evolving to meet diverse operational requirements across sectors. So, I was talking with Lars, co-founder on contractsconnected.com yesterday, actually. And we were training our AI employee that's basically doing all of his contract stuff. And, he's got cost codes that it knows. He's got project numbering, how he numbers his projects, how he numbers his subcontracts. All that stuff is stuff that's unique to him. And while Contracts Connected kind of like helps automate all that stuff, the AI employee still needs to know, okay, well, our last subcontract on this project was like project number 5005 with a period. And then we did the agreement number, this was like the seventh subcontract. So it's 007, 500.007, right? So that's going to change on every single company. A lot of organizations do the same things at the end of the day, especially when it comes to contracts and compliance, right? Somebody needs to tell the contract administrator some way that they need a contract made. The contract administrator needs to go find that information, fill out the document, send it off to the right person to approve. They route it for e-signature. It gets e-signed. They collect the rest of the documents, maybe certificate of insurance, W-9, and so on. That process is kind of the same at the 10,000 foot view, but some companies do it very different. that those actions need to happen, but sometimes it's like two people need to approve the document. Sometimes it's like we number our subcontracts this way, our project numbers this way. This document is a writer. When we work in this state, our subcontract has like exhibit A, B, C, and D versus some other companies have attachment A, B, C, and D. So it's very different and it needs to be dynamically trainable on your company's, standard operating procedures, your company's knowledge, how you guys actually work, and then it needs to be able to adopt the software. And I think if a company is like us, we're trying to be smart and build out a fully adopted AI agent that knows about your company, can basically interview you, ask you all the stuff that it needs to know about contract administration in your company, and then it can use our software that's gated, that's templatized, that's structured, that's a system of record, right? So yeah, so this layer that I need you guys to be thinking about, and I want you guys to be thinking about, the integration of an AI agent layer is going to offer those advantages by basically operating within structured environments, structured systems of record. And this approach is going to ensure that the foundational systems remain intact. Your company doesn't have to rework everything in every way that it's ever worked. You guys just need to continue operating the way you're operating, and now you're just going to have somebody that executes for you, that does the drudgery and the grunt work of like copy and pasting into different platforms and going and looking this document information up and that subcontract when it's on page 8, and getting it to somebody on an email or a text message. And this approach is going to ensure the foundational systems remain intact while adding automation capabilities that streamline the tasks, reading, summarizing, drafting, routing, executing, routine steps. And it's not going to make you guys completely change your workflows. No, I know that I blasted through it today. Usually I go over on time. So this is the first time in 21 webinars. I think I'm on my 22nd webinar that I have gone under on time. But this is also the first webinar that I talked more theory than how to. I've really tried to come to these webinars to give you guys tools, to teach you guys basics, to teach you guys, the overarching kind of principles on like how to think about these tools, how to use these tools, where the settings live, how to build custom GPTs. And I want to do that because I realize that I am coming into this as a tech person, not as a construction person. So I never wanted to come to these webinars and tell anybody, this is how construction is going to run. This is how to use AI in your construction company. I just wanted to equip you guys with the tools to then have the knowledge to go use these how you want. I'm giving you ideas on how it could be used, but I never wanted to come into these webinars and say, this is how it should work in construction, and this is how, you guys should be using it, because you guys are in the trenches, not me. I work very closely with the people in the trenches and as contract administrators, and then my co-founder that he's building another construction company. But at the end of the day, I'm here to provide you guys knowledge. And this is the first webinar where I took a little bit different of an approach. So any feedback would be very helpful. But this is my theory on, how things are going to layer in and how to best do this without ripping apart the way that we work with our softwares today in construction, and how you guys can layer these agents to operate not only in your softwares, but also operate locally. A lot of agents, like OpenClaw, for example, we're going to have more and more control, and OpenClaw can be hosted on internal servers. They can also host LLMs internally if you have enough, processing power. So you can host everything internal, that data never leaves. And you guys can then create these agents that are trained on your softwares and that can use your softwares, and that can integrate with your current workflows, the way your team currently communicates, and work alongside your team rather than try to replace like big pieces of your team and really shake things up. I don't see, especially construction, just, a company being able to hit a light switch and say, going forward, we're firing Sarah, and you guys are only going to be able to talk to this agent. Like, and that's just not realistic, right? And that's that like unrealistic hype that people are talking about these agents. I think that for quite a while we're going to want to have oversight. We're going to have this human in the loop kind of process where it can go do a lot of work, but there's definitely hard blocks where a human needs to come hit that approve button. And if you use your current softwares and your softwares have good workflows built into them, like we have for our users, you can layer an AI agent in there, and those workflows are going to be kind of like pushed in. Additionally, I would definitely encourage you guys, whether you're going to implement AI agents today or not in your company, a best practice is going to be all around data structure. And with Claude Cowork, there's some really powerful tools in here around file management, file organization. And one thing that we always talk to people about in our calls with when they're interested in contracts connected is, our system is a system of record, it's structured, and the data is in the right place every single time. If your data is a mess, this AI layer is only going to amplify a mess. So if you can figure out how to start structuring, saving, naming your documents, and get your folder system on lockdown, you're going to have a much better time. And right now with Claude Cowork, again, if you guys are GPT users, the 55% of you in here, you can actually import all of your previous chats over to Claude right now if you want to give it a try. But you can use Claude Cowork to really go through these files, read these files, help you organize them, help you structure them. Even if your desktop is a mess, have it go structure or file away the items on your desktop or your downloads folder. Because oftentimes things are left in those download folders, things are left on desktop, and that's when they don't get to the right filing system. I see it all the time when we're going through an onboarding process and we're onboarding a team and they want to backload some contract administration stuff and they realize, oh, where is that SF-1413? Oh, where is that certificate of insurance? Oh, it's in an email. And then they spend 30 minutes looking through their email, right? So make sure your data is structured now, even if you don't plan to integrate AI agents for 2 years from now. Start structuring the data now because it's only going to amplify whatever is underneath. And if the data is all over the place underneath, you're not going to get the most out of those AI agents. So it's one thing that we automate a contracts connected, so no one like an AI agent doesn't even have to do it. But yeah, I hope that you guys got something to take away from this. Again, this was my first time not giving you just basics and how-tos and skills. And this was the first time where I wanted you guys to just get into this frame of mind and learn how we're implementing this in a real life construction company with real life projects and real life contracts and real life project managers and so on. So I'm going to keep you guys in the loop, especially if you're following me on LinkedIn. I'm posting like insider stuff about this in our AI community. Again, there's a 7-day free trial there. I have a lot of courses in here for you guys as well. So if you guys haven't already checked it out, this is what it looks like inside. I try to post almost daily if I can. There's a lot of like this is last week's webinar. And then we have like something about Autodesk on their spatial intelligence drop that I announced here, right? So they invested $200 million to do this. But yeah, it's something that I try to build out as much as I can. And then as far as the courses go in the classroom, there's the beginner's guide, ton of courses in here, gets you up to speed. Then we have the advanced prompting, ton of courses in here, gets you basically to that advanced level of prompting no matter what you're using. And then I have a course in here on custom GPTs. So those repetitive workflow stuff, you could get in here and by the end of this, they're all pretty short. You can see I try to break them up into 2-minute chunks so you could just do something if you have a spare 2 minutes. I also offer office hours every Thursday, 9:30. I sit down with anybody in our community. I work through problems, build out agents with them. And we have a community growing all over the world already. So all these people are able to chat in here. This is a true community. These courses are in here for you guys and completely accessible. So with that link I just put in the chat, you guys can join. You can watch every course. You can read every post in 7 days and cancel on the seventh day, and it won't hurt my feelings. I just want this stuff to be seen. And this just simply helps us run this. Like I can't run this by myself. I have to have help because I'm also trying to build an AI startup and lead that team and the dev team, the product team, the sales team. So I do have help here, and that's just what this does. So yeah, I hope you guys got some good insights away from today. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. If you guys have questions, even if it's specific to you, please let me know. I would love to know also if you guys are interested in a Claude skill-based um, webinar. Would I'm going to put a poll up. Would you like webinar? All right, and I'm just going to push this out to you guys. So if you guys want to give this a quick little answer before you go, I would love to know. And if you have something else that you want me to present on, throw it in the QA. But it looks like basically everybody's saying yes. Okay, so that kind of locks that in. If you guys haven't, go ahead and get the Claude. You have to get the Claude desktop app. So if you guys want to be kind of set up for next week to follow along on anything, you need the Claude desktop app downloaded and installed on your computer. A lot of the actions that we're going to be taking and the skills that you build, it uses your computer to execute those skills, especially if you're having it organize files in your folders or your desktop. So make sure you go sign up for your Claude account, download it. The co-work tools are paid only. Just so you guys know, it's cheap, like, I don't know, 20 bucks a month, something like that. But worth it. Even if you're paying 20 bucks over a ChatGPT, 40 bucks for two of the most forward-thinking, crazy AI tools is like the deal of the century, in my opinion. So it looks like everybody said yes. Awesome. So I'll make sure that I have that ready for you guys next week. And yeah, I'll stick around for some questions. Thank you guys for being a part of the construction community that is forward thinking, that is, interested in this stuff. I do these for you. Like I say, I know all this stuff. I'm experimenting every day. I'm doing this stuff every day. I don't need to present. But if you guys keep showing up, like we had 230 people register for today, I'm happy to do it. And I want to make sure that I'm presenting on stuff that matters to you, that you guys care about, that's actually going to move the needle for you. So, with that being said, I'll give you guys 10 minutes of your day back if there's no questions. But I hope to see you guys in the AI community. I hope to see you guys on the next webinar. And say hi on LinkedIn if you see me posting and talking nonsense about AI and whatever I'm posting about. Feel free to just comment in. I try to look at the attendee list and recognize names when I can. So thank you guys for supporting by coming today. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope that you got some value out of today's time. Thanks.